Let's have a fire, Phil.
Yeah, so hello and welcome to Wellbeing Wednesday. So this week we're going to cover safe and responsible campfires.
Definitely.
So we'll start with safe. Right, where you have your campfire. So, just grab this camera and show you. We are right next to river, I think.
Yep.
And that gives us a source of water.
Also, where we're doing the fire as well.
Yep, is stony ground, so it's not like it's going to catch the ground's going to catch fire. Right. In terms of safety kits, obviously I brought a first aid kit with me.
Yep.
Two things, one main thing that you really need to make sure you've got in your first aid kit is some sort of burn treatment.
Well, we get creams as well and stuff.
Yeah, and if you don't have anything specific, Vaseline's quite good. And this is a sterile wash. If you do get a burn, infection's the main thing.
Yep.
Well, that's not going to happen. Other things, we don't want fire to spread, so we need to contain it, even though we're on stony ground. So I've brought a biscuit tin. As you can see, that's a little fire's in it before. A couple of pop bottles full of water for us to put it out. Right, so if we were up at Harwes Farm, you'd find that they'd have a proper water bucket and there'd be burn kits and
a fire pit
and proper fire gloves and all that kind of stuff. So we're sort of going, what can you do from home? So obviously braking cycles, a lot of bike related stuff. So mountain bike gloves with a leathery palm are kind of a next best thing.
Yeah.
Gardening gloves aren't bad.
Yeah.
So gloves keep us nice and safe.
Indeed.
Right, so that's safety. So we're going to look at three methods, because this is about keeping it easy. It's like an introduction.
Yeah.
So I've got a big bag of wood here. This is just sort of fuel wood.
Yeah. It's always good to bring your own wood. I mean,
What?
you can collect it outside, but
Yeah,
make sure it's dead wood. And
well, particularly in winter, we bring in this because it's dry. So we've got kind of fuel wood, cut it up a bit smaller, like these pieces. That's kindling. And I'm going to show you a couple of really easy fire methods. So the first one is, you can see here, small bundle of kindling. Some blocks of wood, tip them out. And this is a solid fuel stove. You can use it to make a brew or whatever, but it's also a really safe way of having a little fire quite quickly. Let's have a look at easy ways of lighting a fire.
yeah.
So, in here, this little box labelled lighter blocks. Before I got onto something that's better than lighter blocks, which is tea light candle. Then we want some tinder. So natural tinder, I've got some, which I'll show you later, which is the bark of an ash tree, which is fantastic stuff. But in here is a bit of torn up newspaper and some washing machine fluff, dryer fluff even. So if I take the metal bit, if I take the tea light out of its metal casing, camera will do that, and it's just going to spread out at the bottom, put that out of the way where it's not going to get left, and put those bits of tinder around the bottom to catch.
And as much as it's nice to do all the traditional, like, rubbing a stick, and it's a good skill to learn, it's about practicality of what you can do.
And we've got this stuff in here.
Yeah.
We can have a look at later.
Well, there's resources there that you can use. Use them.
So, box of matches. I like the long Cook's ones because safety first.
Yeah.
Keeps your fingers away from the flames. So I get that. Lit's taking a little bit of time.
Perks of the long matches there.
Yeah, get that lit, drop it in, and you can see that's going straight away. And all I need to do to keep it going is drop in those bits of kindling. Then let that get going. And seeing there, it's all stacked so that there's plenty of air in between things.
That's it. A lot of people try and build a fire in containers and cut through the air and wonder why it's smoky.
And I can just drop these bigger bits of fuel in there. And there we go. So we can have a look at how that goes. A little bit, and that's just fueled with these little bits of wood.
Lovely.
And
that was, what, took 3 minutes to set up?
Yeah.
You know. And it's contained and easy, and you know, already it's giving off a bit of heat. You can feel that.
Yeah. So the next method I've got to show you is something called a rocket stove. So this is my rocket stove.
Smiley face.
And it's made out of a block off a pallet. It's like all recycled stuff. And because we're on rocky ground, I think we're fairly safe to just sit it down somewhere level. So I'm just going to move some of these rocks around and get it set down level.
Is the smiley face intentional?
The smiley face is intentional because the last one had an accidental smiley face, and I just thought, well, it's about well-being, isn't it? And how much are like your kids gonna engage more?
That's it. It's about getting people to engage in any way you can.
Yeah. So I'll quite often take one of these, and you do need a little bit of extra kindling. So I'll quite often take one of these that I make out for a walk or a bike ride, and then make a stop off to toast some marshmallows, part of the activity. And my George, who's 6, absolutely loves it. So yeah, all I'm going to do here is I'm going to light, and again I'm using a lighter here. I'd notice how I'm using the one with a stick, so I'm not getting too close. And as that wick's coated in wax, so as that burns down, the inside of that rocket stove will go. So what a rocket stove is there's like an L-shaped channel for the air to flow through. A lot of them are metal that you put the fuel in. This one is made of wood. This is about having a nice experience with my family and making it work in, like, in the winter. It's
for people who are reasonably new to it and want to get out of the same way.
well, yeah. It's not about going from a fire lighting badge.
Yeah, that's it.
And generally with a fire you need like 2 pieces of wood to burn against each other. So we'll just pop some other bits in there to burn against.
Look how quickly that goes up.
And off we go. And again, like the solid fuel stove, there's an element of don't crowd it.
And these are fairly easy to carry in your bag as well, aren't they?
They are, yeah.
It'd be good if we could see a little video of how you make your rocket
Well,
at some point.
Yeah, we'll make a video. We'll do a how to make them. But at the moment, because we'd like more people to be watching these videos, so when you see the fires video, I want you to make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel. I want you to like the video, and I want you to comment on it.
Ask us a question.
Yeah.
Or, you know, put forward a specific thing you'd like to know more about that we mentioned, or something you'd like us to look into?
Even
if you've got a certain ailment or something that you want help with, or
even tell us why we're wrong.
Yeah,
That'll be fun.
yeah.
Like a good
I'm sure you'll
argument.
get a lot of that.
Sorry, discussion. So
But I have to say, a lot of what we're kind of showing in these videos, it's not necessarily you do it exactly as we say. It's about working for you. But we're just giving an introduction and throwing the ideas out there, and from what we know works.
well, likewise, we're showing we're showing multiple ways of doing a small fire.
I like it. Commence mean prizes.
Yep. And that's even if you're telling us what we're doing wrong. We haven't used our tin yet. So I'm just going to show this in principle. Just pop that one here. So this is getting a bit closer to like a proper sort of fire making thing. It's running a bit low. Yeah, so I'm going to use a bit of this silver birch bark. This is natural tinder. Just purely because I didn't send any of the other tinder, which I should have done.
And the birch bark has oils in it that are very flammable, so that creates the fire lighting process.
And because I haven't got much tinder, I'm going to make my kindling very small. And another thing with making it more accessible, making it easier, is prep things at home. So you see I've got a little triangle there, so plenty there, getting things, and I'm putting the rest of my smaller pieces of kindling nearby to get in. When it's done, and I'm just going to get my foot in there. And you will find when you do it in the more natural ways, you might need to sort of relight and come back to it and things.
Protect it a little bit from the wind or something, or
Yeah.
But that's taking off nicely. That's,
Which is where your stove helps.
Yeah. I think a mistake some people make is they just keep chucking stuff on and keep chucking stuff on. You don't want to do it until there's a good flame going, because that's
and
like you're adding now. Add it into the flame,
and it's really tempting.
and not only does that go through a lot more wood, but it also it creates a lot more smoke and stops the fire kind of going.
Yeah.
But it is good fun putting things on the fire.
Yeah.
That's another safety thing as well. There, don't put a lot of random things on the fire. Although it is tempting, it's kind of
and this is where like the tin comes in. So by using that tin, it contains the fire in that space, and it stops it from spreading too far.
Yeah.
And if we were somewhere where there was something flammable nearby, using that tin, raising it off the ground so that there's air in between, and just can just
and
really
all
help.
of these are contained fires.
Yes.
And you can, to an extent, that's pretty contained. It's better than just having one on the ground, and which has caused a lot of problems. A lot of forest fires and things start.
Yeah, but again, I could have put that in a tin.
Yeah. So we've got the 3 fires going, Phil. What's what other things would you suggest going on fire? What are the benefits of it? What's the?
I mean, just look at it. It's lovely.
I mean, it's enticing, isn't it? It's a form of meditation. There's people who can't sit there and clear their mind. They sit and stare at flames for half an hour.
Yeah. And it is just a beautiful.
Try not to do.
Yeah, it is just a beautiful thing, and it's warm and it's natural, and you can cook on it and stuff. And it's just a way of taking that time out. If you've ever listened to a guided meditation, like the sort of recorded ones you get on YouTube and stuff. The sounds you regularly hear in the background are running water and crackling fires.
Yeah.
And
that's perfectly on cue. That little crack.
yeah, and there's no mistake. So we'll quite often sort of go for a ride and stop off and have a little fire and maybe make a brew, or cook your lunch as part of your adventure therapy activity. From the therapeutic education point of view, it helps teach people to be a bit more independent, and you know, one of the presuppositions of NLP is we have all the resources we need, or we can make them. And putting a fire together and cooking, or just making a brew, you know, we're embodying that.
Fantastic.
You know, and it's just like this, you're learning science and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
So anyone who home educates.
Perfect. Yeah. And you know, I think a lot of it is about connecting with kind of, you know, the connecting with nature element and the kind of the enjoyment of it. 'Cause it's ingrained in our kind of psyche, I suppose, to enjoy fire.
Yeah.
And again, it's kind of like the biophilia kind of hypothesis.
Yeah.
That we do thrive from nature.
He's read a book this week.
It's about connecting with nature, isn't it? And how it's our natural instinct. And
but it's also like, you know, there's also that element of sort of learning skills in a more practical way. So we think about sort of science, and you know, we know about the fire triangle.
Yeah.
So we can see here, you know, that's smoking a lot. So it's clearly got its heat. We can see its fuel there. So what's it lacking? Why haven't we got any fuel? So it must be oxygen, the third part. So I know if I get down here,
okay,
and I blow in there. Best piece of feedback I've ever had from a client was when we were doing that. He said to me afterwards, he said, I like blowing on the fire because it makes me feel like a dragon.
Nice. And that's, you know, and it means something different for everyone.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and it meant for him, he was empowered.
Yeah. Creating something, you know, which a lot of people don't get to do in their day-to-day lives. You know, sit somewhere quietly and create something and share something.
Yeah. So we have a perfect scenario here. This is why the bottle of water is a good thing to have with you. So without any panic, just tip a little bit on there.
Done. And if we'd lit that on sawdust or stuff, that would have gone up, and we'd be in a bit of a pickle.
Yeah, but
which is why you pick your spot.
Probably would have still been okay with this. And on that note, you know, when we get to the end of our fire, we don't have to wait for it to completely go out.
No.
We can, and if you just like to close up on this one.
Yeah.
So we can, when we get to the end of our fire, and we're going to put the solid fuel stove out, I'll just pour a bit of water on and let it cool down.
Lovely.
And just keep going till it starts.
That's quite a nice sound as well.
It is, yeah.
You know, that's the joy of how these rocket fuels are built.
Yeah. So this solid fuel stove will be
able to withstand the temperature change. That's what I was.
Yeah, and it'll be cooled down in about 10 minutes, so it can be sort of cleaned up and put back in your bag, and you're off without leaving a trace.
Yeah. Which
is a really important thing.
Yeah, and that's another important thing when you're cleaning up the fire. Make sure there's it's cleaned up and there's not kind of wasted stuff everywhere. And, you know, like what we'll do, we'll kind of break up a bit of the ash and throw it in the river, because that goes back into the ecosystem and it'll run down the river and sort of spread out.
Yeah.
If there's not water around, you can dig a little, make sure it's out, but dig a little hole and put it in the hole, and that charcoal fertilises the soil. So it's all about kind of keeping everything in balance.
So, top tips.
Top tips. Make sure the ground's not flammable you're burning on.
Make sure you've got access to water.
Yeah.
And take some with you.
Yeah. Make sure it's out when you leave.
Prepare your fuel
Yeah.
before you go to make your life easier.
It's hard to make a fire with damp wood. Yeah. Gloves, safety,
Yep, keep yourself safe, gloves, and also
distance from the fire.
first aid kit, and make sure you've got some burn salve just in case.
Yeah.
Yeah, keeping your distance
And
from
probably
the
don't
fire
have the camera right next to it.
should be okay until it gets a little bit warmer.
Yeah. So yeah, and enjoy it.
Yeah,
You know. And as before, you know, these are just guidances, and you need to find your own way of doing
Yeah.
things that works for you.
yeah, and like, I think the other thing is go easy on yourself. Use the cheats. Use a candle to start it.
Yeah.
Use a candle to start your fire. Use get hold of a rocket stove or
Yeah.
stove, or make one at home, or a solid fuel stove.
And if you're not confident, use these until you are.
Yeah,
You know, and then practice in your garden, make it safe, and get one going. And
yeah. And I think another thing is check that you're allowed to have a fire.
yeah,
Which is just a case of have a good look around, and if there are signs that say like no open fires or things like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I think if you've got any more questions, drop a comment in, and you know, if it's something you want to learn, not confident with, Breaking Cycles does provide courses throughout the year, which will help facilitate that and show you.
Absolutely, and you know, there'll be more content on here, and we're always happy to have a chat.
Lovely.
Before we chuck this into this fire to let him burn out, remember the competition.
Yeah. Just remind us quickly.
Subscribe, like, comment, and you will have one of these made just for you.
One person out of all the comments before the next Wednesday when the next one's released, and yeah, there'll only be one winner, so you won't all get one. We'll pick one randomly out of a hat around a fire or something nice.
Yeah, there can only be one winner.
Yeah, we better go and get some marshmallows for the fire.
Yeah.